incidents that were outlined in the article. My assessment and our staff confirmed only one of them correlated with the U.S. strike. That was the strike in Minhab on the girls' school. That is an active IRGC base. The other 38 instances did not involve U.S. munitions.
Okay. I'm actually asking about a different New York Times article, although I will get to that one. This one is about just the Minhab strike. U.S. at fault in strike on school in Iran, preliminary inquiry says. Can you confirm that the U.S. being at fault was, in fact, the finding of the preliminary inquiry into the school strike in Minhab?
The only outcome of the preliminary inquiry was that it was brought to my attention. I immediately directed a more sophisticated comprehensive investigation that would be led by an outside organization. That is in progress. We're coming toward the end of it, and as you mentioned, I'm committed to full transparency. I think this is a vitally important matter.
Okay, and when can we expect this investigation to be complete and shared with us?
This investigation or any investigation, I'm always reluctant to put a timetable on it. It is coming to the end, and I think transparency is important, ma'am.
Okay, and will you commit today to release an unclassified version of it to the public?
I do.
Okay, thank you. And on these other 39 allegations here, in this other New York Times article, you have done preliminary assessments of these reports?
We looked at all 39.
Subscribe, God bless you. What's up, my fellow patriots? This is America Truth Channel, fighting for God, country, and the truth against the radical left's endless attacks on American strength. Today, we're reacting to a House Armed Services Committee hearing where California Democrat Representative Sara Jacobs is point-blank grilling Admiral Brad Cooper, commander of U.S. Central Command, over a U.S. strike in Iran that allegedly hit a girls' school. The left is foaming at the mouth, calling it reckless, demanding apologies and investigations like we're the bad guys. As a right-wing patriot who's had enough of weak foreign policy apologies and America bashing, let me tell you up front, this is classic Democrat weakness on display. In a dangerous world with Iran funding terrorism, building nukes, and threatening our allies, our military took decisive action under President Trump. Tragic civilian casualties happen in war, especially when the enemy hides among civilians, but we don't tie our troops' hands or signal weakness to our enemies. Let's break this down reaction style, give you the full context, and deliver some straight-talk patriot truth.
California, Ms. Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for testifying today. Admiral Cooper, I'd like to start with you. Thank you for the many conversations we've had about the topic of civilian harm. I know it's something that you take very seriously. I want to build on Ranking Member Smith's line of questioning and give you a chance to provide some clarity on your previous statements about the strike on the school in Minhab. So I led over half the Democratic caucus in a letter to the department requesting more information about this strike and urging the findings of the ongoing investigation to be made public. And the only response we received to our letter was to reiterate that there is an investigation ongoing. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to enter both of these into the record.
Without objection.
Thank you. Admiral, we have public reporting here from the New York Times that the preliminary investigation, the preliminary inquiry concluded that the United States is at fault. Can I also enter this into the record?
Without objection, so ordered.
Can you confirm that this was, in fact, the finding of the preliminary inquiry?
Congressman, I was asked about this last Thursday in a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing. We spent the weekend, myself and the staff, we looked into all 39 incidents that were outlined in the article. My assessment and our staff confirmed only one of them correlated with the U.S. strike. That was the strike in Minhab on the girls' school. That is an active IRGC base. The other 38 instances did not involve U.S. munitions.
Okay. I'm actually asking about a different New York Times article, although I will get to that one. This one is about just the Minhab strike. U.S. at fault in strike on school in Iran, preliminary inquiry says. Can you confirm that the U.S. being at fault was, in fact, the finding of the preliminary inquiry into the school strike in Minhab?
The only outcome of the preliminary inquiry was that it was brought to my attention. I immediately directed a more sophisticated comprehensive investigation that would be led by an outside organization. That is in progress. We're coming toward the end of it, and as you mentioned, I'm committed to full transparency. I think this is a vitally important matter.
Okay, and when can we expect this investigation to be complete and shared with us?
This investigation or any investigation, I'm always reluctant to put a timetable on it. It is coming to the end, and I think transparency is important, ma'am.
Okay, and will you commit today to release an unclassified version of it to the public?
I do.
Okay, thank you. And on these other 39 allegations here, in this other New York Times article, you have done preliminary assessments of these reports?
We looked at all 39, yes.
Okay. And your understanding is that none of the other 38 had U.S. munitions?
Not just our understanding, our comprehensive assessment, it is the other 38 did not have a U.S. munition nexus at all.
Can you share that analysis with this committee?
Sure, and beyond that, I'd be more than happy to invite you and then any member of the staff here to come down and take a look at in Tampa for yourselves.
Good, I plan on doing that. Thank you. All right, General Anderson. As you know, I spend a lot of time thinking about the African continent, and I want to talk about our strategy in Nigeria. Over Christmas last year, the United States conducted airstrikes in northwest Sokoto State. Since then, the U.S. has sent 200 troops to Nigeria to train the country's military, and just this past weekend, the U.S. conducted more strikes and an operation that killed Abubakar Mainak. This was a significant operation, including American Special Operations and SEAL Team 6. But as you also know, high-profile military operations, while they sound impressive, are not actually how you address violent extremism. You and I have had this conversation. What is the actual strategy here, other than episodic military operations that amount to an endless game of whack-a-mole?
Congressman, I appreciate your interest in Nigeria, and these were significant strikes that set back the ISIS network significantly globally. We have had incredibly good partnership and cooperation with the Nigerians to include their intelligence sharing. We are working with them as they address the strategy to address the greater drivers of this terrorism. Our role in the military is to help them with the violent extremist piece of it. We have worked with them to introduce them to other nonprofits, other folks that can help with the law enforcement pieces as they are looking at options to address the drivers of this instability and violent extremism.
Well, thank you for that. But, you know, with respect, we've tried this model across the Sahel before. In Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, it collapsed. We often were responsible for training the very officers who committed the coups. So I only have 3 seconds left. I would like you to take for the record, if you could, what is materially different about what we're doing in Nigeria from what we've done in the Sahel. And Mr. Chairman,
Gentlelady's
I yield
time
back.
expired. Chair, now
If you support a strong America that defeats our foes, hit like and subscribe now. Look at this, folks. Representative Sara Jacobs starts off all polite, thanking the Admiral for conversations on civilian harm. Then she dives in, referencing a New York Times report claiming the U.S. was at fault for striking a school in Minab, Iran, killing over 150 girls according to Iranian sources. She wants confirmation that preliminary findings blamed the U.S. Admiral Cooper pushes back hard, and rightly so. He says they reviewed the claims, and out of dozens, only one correlated to a U.S. strike, a girls' school built on an active IRGC cruise missile base. The rest? Not U.S. munitions. That's huge. Iran is the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. The IRGC is a designated terrorist organization responsible for killing Americans, arming Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. They attack shipping, threaten Israel, and pursue nuclear weapons that could reach us one day. Patriots, this isn't some random school in peacetime. This was February 2026, during active military operations against a regime that chants death to America. The enemy deliberately places military assets in civilian areas, schools, hospitals, mosques, to use their own people as human shields. That's a war crime by Iran, not us. Our military goes to extraordinary lengths with precision strikes, rules of engagement, and intelligence to minimize civilian deaths. Democrats like Jacobs ignore that reality. Admiral Cooper nails it. The school itself is located on an active IRGC cruise missile base. It's more complex than the average strike. Exactly. This wasn't collateral damage for collateral damage's sake. It was a legitimate military target. Iran embeds its missile sites in populated areas precisely because they know we need Western politicians and media will cry foul and pressure us to stop fighting. As a right-wing patriot, I say, war is hell. It's not a video game with perfect outcomes. President Trump was elected to restore peace through strength, not endless nation-building or appeasement like we saw under previous administrations. Recall how Obama let Iran get billions and move toward nukes with the disastrous JCPOA. Biden's weakness invited more aggression. Trump flipped the script, striking hard at threats, supporting Israel, and protecting American interests. The left wants us to believe every civilian death is America's fault, demanding endless probes, apologies, and reparations. Where was this outrage when Iran-backed militias killed U.S. troops? When Hamas used Gaza schools to launch rockets? When the Taliban executed girls for going to school? Crickets. Democrats only weaponize civilian harm when it lets them undermine Republican leadership and our military. This hearing is political theater designed to erode public support for necessary action against Iran. Let's zoom out, patriots. This strike is part of a larger campaign to neutralize Iran's nuclear ambitions and terror network. Iran was racing toward a bomb. They attacked Israel, disrupted global energy through the Strait of Hormuz, and funded chaos worldwide. President Trump and our military leaders like Admiral Cooper are doing what previous weak presidents refused, confronting evil directly instead of managing decline. Representative Jacobs and her Democrat colleagues signed letters with over 120 members demanding answers, calling it reckless. They push narratives of shame and war crimes. Give me a break. These are the same people who cheered or stayed silent during Biden's disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal that left Americans dead and billions in weapons to terrorists. The same party that defunded police at home while demanding our troops play by rules that put them in greater danger abroad. In my valid opinion as a right-wing patriot, America must prioritize victory and deterrence over performative hand-wringing. Yes, mourn innocent lives lost, but put the blame where it belongs, on the Iranian regime that uses schools as missile bases and teaches hatred. Our troops deserve our full support, not congressional Democrats turning hearings into anti-American gotcha sessions. This fund and accountability the left demands? Fine for genuine mistakes, but not at the expense of paralyzing our defense. History shows strength wins wars and saves more lives long-term. Weakness invites more death. Patriots, this moment tests our resolve. The radical left, globalists, and Iran apologists want us ashamed of American power. I say no. We are the greatest force for good in history. Our military, the finest warriors on earth, protects freedom at great cost. We don't apologize for existing or for striking terrorists. We support rules of engagement that protect innocence where possible, but we don't sacrifice victory for perfect optics. President Trump's approach, America first, peace through strength, is working. Iran is on its back foot. Allies like Israel are safer. Energy markets can stabilize. Democrats' constant criticism only emboldens our enemies and demoralizes our heroes. What do you think, patriots? Is the left undermining our military with these hearings? Or do they have a point? Sound off in the comments. Civil debate only. If you're tired of weakness and love a strong, sovereign America that defeats radical Islamists and protects its people, smash that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for more unapologetic right-wing commentary.